And good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My guest this evening is John Clark from Middlesex Broadcasting. John, welcome. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me.
Hey, thanks for coming down. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, a whole year. Whole year. No, think about it. We were in December.
I was going to say,
like
no, it hasn't been that long.
That's why with our friends. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. We were hanging out with our friends last time I saw you. So what's going on at the station?
We're on vacation as of this morning.
Excellent.
9:02, we're on vacation.
All right.
We did 13 weeks of basketball.
Okay.
We spent the last Saturday and Sunday living at Mohegan Sun, and we broadcast the Cromwell game yesterday afternoon. They played Sheehan High School from Wallingford, and they won 60-51.
Wow.
So it was nice. It was nice. It was packed. It was packed. You know, we had just under 1,300 people listen, and it was on WCNX radio. It was on .com, and it was also on Armed Forces Radio as well.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, who announced the game?
We had Gene Gums was our play-by-play, and Jay Hickey was doing color.
Okay.
And then we had at the halftime we had Mike Tomorrow, New London Day. Came in and gave his thoughts, his inner thoughts about some of these basketball teams. So.
What's Mike Tomorrow from New London Day like?
What's he like?
Yeah.
He's very opinionated.
Okay.
He'll tell you where to get off, what station to get off at. I mean, he's that kind of a guy.
Okay.
There is no breakdown lane with him. It's just they tell you you're wrong, get off.
He tells it the way it is.
Yeah, he just tells it the way it is.
Okay. All right. So what's going on with the station? I understand there's some changes.
What we did is we reconstituted the station last October 1.
Okay.
We're now known as the Middlesex Broadcasting Company. And the reason we chose that name is because that was the original name to the original WCNX in Middletown in 1948. And there was a partnership between the O'Brien family from Portland and the Middletown Press. They owned WCNX radio at that time. And we wanted to bring back some history. So that name lasted from 1948 to 1996.
Okay.
And then new owners came in 96, and then they changed it over to WMRD. So we went back. We wanted to give some history to the station, and so the Middlesex Broadcasting Company was the original name to the original station back in the late 40s.
Wow, I didn't know.
And Middlesex Broadcasting's got 4 components. It's got WCNX Radio.
Yep.
It's got WCNX TV.
Okay.
There's WCNX Sports Channel.
Yes.
And your friend, Mr. Pumpkin.
Right.
It's got those 4 channels.
There you go.
It's doing well. It's doing well. So, like I said, we're taking probably the next month off to kind of chill out and regather ourselves. I mean, because we've been strung out now for 13 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
And then take a couple weeks off, and then get ready for.
Well, we actually, the way it's designed, we're on for 6, we're off for 6
Correct.
months.
Yep.
Okay, so we do football for September, October, November. We're off in December. Come back January, February, March, do the state tournament, and then we're off April, May, June, July, and August. Come back in mid-September for football all over again. And so it preserves the marital status. We could do it every day of the week, all year round.
You don't want to do that.
But I'll guarantee I'll be in divorce court. So,
Speaking of divorce court, but what people don't know is Middlesex Broadcasting is, I believe it's the #1 female-owned station in the state
it is the only female-owned and operated station in Connecticut.
And who would that be? Oh, pray tell.
A lady named Judith L. Clark. I was the greatest person in the world to be married to. She's my boss.
And she puts up with us.
She's sitting over there.
I know she is.
She's but no, she is the only female-owned and operated station in Connecticut, because most of the stations are owned by conglomerates.
Yes.
And then there's us. We're a small pebble on a big beach.
Exactly.
And we're doing fine. I mean, I don't know if it's pulling power or people like to park in front of our house. I don't know. But we went to Mohegan Sun. We sit down for lunch or dinner, and we got Mark Robbins sitting there. Joe Zone is sitting there. Andy Ambrosio from Channel 61 is there. Yep. We had the girl from Channel 30 there. I mean, and they all stop and say hello.
There you go.
Which is nice, yeah.
It is.
And we were the only radio station at the tournament. We're it.
Wow.
There were 7, and then now we're down to 1. We're the last one standing. We're still standing.
Wow.
But we pull, you know, it depends on the teams, depends on the ranks, and who they're playing and when they're playing. Last year they did Mercy, and we had 5,000 people. This year we did Cromwell. It was at 3:30 on Sunday afternoon. We pulled 1,300, but that's still respectable. And, you know.
I was going to say, I actually listened to the game yesterday afternoon on WCNX.
Well, then you heard the banter between Gene, Jay, and Dave Petrozello used to live in Cromwell.
Yes.
They kind of went after Dave, and
Yeah.
you know. So Dave's vowed to get equal. He's coming up next year. He's going to be the third color guy.
Okay. Speaking of Gene Gums, how's his station doing?
He's doing very well. He's over
Cool.
2,000 listeners now, and he started at 0 last May. So he's coming right along.
I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, right after he launched the station, him and I were on my show. You and him and I sat here and did this.
Because we simulcast this show every Friday.
That's right. Yes.
And it's a little bit of, it gives a little bit of programming variety.
Yeah.
That we're not playing just music, because he does a 2-hour sports talk.
Yes.
And the first half hour he likes to rant. Mm-hmm. And he'll pick a topic and rant about it. I'm sitting there having my coffee and donut, saying, you know.
And then he says to Pete Mezzetti, "Hey, Pete Mezzetti, call in and."
Then you come on at 8:30, and it's like, you know, now the show's going in the gutter, and then you leave, and you know.
And then I leave, and
they
then
start pumping oxygen again. Then Dan Sampano comes out at 9:30, and it dies again. You know, I mean, Sampano goes on for another 28 minutes. So it's a cast of characters. You know?
It is.
It's a real cast. Yeah.
It is. So obviously, how good was Cromwell this year in girls basketball?
Cromwell was very good.
Obviously, they had to be great because they made the tournament.
Judy, 4 or 5 playoff games, and one of the games. I mean, the games got harder as you go along.
Yeah.
To get the Mohegan, but we did the game at Maloney a week ago. This is a Monday we're taping this, so a week ago tonight at Maloney High School between Cromwell and Colby Cathedral from Bridgeport, and that was running a tie going up to the very end of the game, and then a senior from Colby got fouled, fell flat on her face on the court. She stands up and got upset and let the emotions get the best of her, takes the ball and slams it to the floor to the point it went up like 12 feet in the air right in front of a referee. So she got hit with a technical foul, and that allowed Cromwell to score 4 points and beat him 51-47. So,
wow,
like you used to say, it ain't over till it's over. So it was, you know, and then of course we did. We played the Cromwell boys against St. Joe's, which was like an apple and a pear. I mean, they weren't even on equal playing field.
No.
So it's just, yeah. But it was an exciting season, but we need a break. I mean, we had done this since September.
Yep.
And now it's vacation time.
Exactly.
And we'll do car shows and community events and that kind of stuff, which I'll talk about during the program. If people have like a community event going on and you want entertainment and it doesn't cost anything, just get a hold of us, and they'll put up my name and phone number and website, email address.
Yeah.
And we'll just come up and do it. You know, we're looking at promoting WCNX.
Right.
And you know, so that's what we do from now till the end of August, and then we'll make a couple trips to South Carolina. We got one granddaughter graduating from high school, so it gives us a chance to see family and friends and that kind of stuff. You need some time off.
Of course you do.
Otherwise, I'll be put in a rubber room somewhere fed intravenously if I don't. You know.
You sure about that now?
Yeah. Anyway, your next question is?
The next question is before, actually, we have a little bit more time before we go into a break. I hear you're getting an award.
Yes, we got a phone call from Jim Zanner, who's now with the Norwich Bulletin, last November. And he said, "Are you sitting down?" I says, "Why?" He says, "Because you're getting an award from the Connecticut Sports Writers Alliance at the end of April 28th. I said, "I'm going to hang up. You call me back. Make sure you call the right number." and he said, No. He said, "There were over 200 nominations. There are 6 awards that give out to people around the state.
Right.
And of the 6, we came in first. So out of the 200 nominations, and we'll get this award on Sunday, April 28th at the AquaTurf.
Very nice.
And it's, we invited 6 of our play-by-play guys because we felt, look, we put it on the air. This is about you. I mean, you made the station what it is, and that's why, we wanted them to be there and share it with us.
Exactly.
It's not about me. It's not about Judy. We can put it on the air. I engineer it, make sure everything runs fine. But these guys actually give the station a personality.
Exactly.
So,
right.
So like I said, it's a big family.
And if people want more information on the station, where can they go?
They can go to WCNXradio.com.
Okay.
And I think Chris will put up my email address in there as well. And,
okay.
And we're always looking. We offer free airtime to nonprofits, which I'll talk about in the next segment after the break. We do give, if they're a 501c3 organization, we'll give them up to 60 seconds of free advertise their organization or event or whatever.
Sure.
Same way we do it like with Ronald McDonald House with you. And we get the word out. Our average listenership in Connecticut is about 3,000 people. And then nationwide and worldwide, we average around 16,000. Cool. We're in all 50 states, and we're in 24 foreign countries, including China.
All right. Would you mind hanging around for another segment?
I'd love to.
We'll be right back.
With newspapers and media outlets merging all over the country, communities are losing their local voice.
There's so much going on in the community that I think doesn't really, there's a lot of folks who are unaware of it. And I think things like this can bring it out into the community and in that way kind of bring the community together.
Information and to our residents is the key to good governance. And with the national media and local media not often covering us, this is an excellent opportunity for us constantly to communicate with our constituents and also to have them communicate with us.
The best outcomes will be achieved through a community-based organization that grows its operation and scale by means of locally produced programming.
All of our content is volunteer produced, so we do shows from talk shows to music shows, working with high schools.
VSC-TV is committed to ensuring that the investment made to secure these powerful tools will pay great dividends in the community for many, many years.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show, sitting here with John Clark from Middlesex Broadcasting. John, welcome back.
Love to be here. You got that illuminating personality.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. All right, so before we get down to some more nuts and bolts and everything, who is Ed?
Ed. The station comprises of 14 people. We have 10 announcers. We have 5 play-by-play, 5 color. And we have Ed Tuma, and we have a guy named Bob Taylor that do our promos and all our commercials and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Ed worked for Armed Forces Radio for 30 years, and then he retired from the military and then went to work for the Voice of America. And Bob Taylor was an announcer for WKBW in Buffalo for over 30 years, and he retired. And they got a hold of us and said, "Look, I'm home, I'm playing bocce ball and bingo, and I got this whole studio, and can we use some promos for it?" So they do promo stuff for us.
I was going to say, is Ed the gentleman who does the promos for me for the Ronald McDonald?
Yes, right. He lives down in Virginia, and we go down when we go down to Charleston, we'll stop on the way back and take him and his wife out to dinner. On the way down, we stop by and see a friend I went to college with and take him and his wife out to dinner. So,
Cool.
And then we take a trip to Buffalo and meet up with the guy in Buffalo. So
there you go. All right, now let's talk about community involvement, and I also want to talk about the community programming that WCNX Radio does.
Okay. From now until the end of August.
Yes.
If you're a 501c3.
Yes.
We will have a form uploaded in the next couple of days. You can go to our website, WCNXradio.com, and download the form and mail it to us. And basically, it's got your name, address, and all that good stuff. We'll give you up to 60 seconds of free airtime to promote any event like Ronald McDonald House, car show, pantry drive. I mean, everything and anything. And we just want, we do this for a number of organizations, not just, not just for you, but
Right.
for a whole bunch of people. So.
Exactly.
And that's what, it's a freebie, so it saves people money.
Exactly.
And if it makes, makes these organizations, money, why not?
We're
just looking to promote the station, and it's a good way to promote the station and give back, as they say.
Right. Yeah. Now, what is the footprint or the mission of the station?
The mission of the station really goes back to sports. We started this, and we actually did research in 2006.
Okay.
And I went to a number of commercial stations, talk about doing high school sports. And the reaction I got from a number of commercial stations was, we're not interested. Nobody's going to listen to this stuff, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So in end of 2006, Judy and I sat down, we talked about it. She's the one that really had the brainchild. So look, you did radio 30 years ago. Why don't we go into, at that time it was online radio. It was just starting to come around. Mm-hmm. So we looked into it and said, okay. So we went on January 1 of 07. And then we added sports that fall, and we just finished our 11th year, and we're going into our 12th year starting in September.
Cool.
So it's just, nice.
Now you guys also do TV and you do radio. So
the TV stuff. We were at one point we were considering doing TV with the sports.
Yeah.
But there's an unintended consequence called being too good. Mm-hmm. We did a couple of test runs on TV at a Mercy game, in fact.
Okay.
And Judy and I sat and watched the tape, and we didn't like what we saw. And what we saw was, the picture was great, and it provided a good flow of the game. But when it came to a time for a break where the coaches were actually showing what plays they were going to play,
yeah,
it was like too detailed. It was high definition. So it wasn't Mercy sharing the tape with Career Magnet. It was us showing the tape to the whole universe.
Yeah, no.
And we didn't feel comfortable with that, because it would have showed every trick in the book that Tim Coase, the Mercy coach, mm-hmm. had in his tool bag.
Wow.
No, we don't want to do that. So we decided that, you know what, our specialty is radio.
Right.
We're going to stay in radio. TV, we go into a studio, Mr. Pumpkin, we tape parades and that kind of stuff. So.
But you guys also run Pete Mezzetti.
Yeah. We run Pete Mezzetti Sunday nights at 5.
Okay.
We call it Sunday night programming. We start with the community health at 4:35.
Right.
Goes to 5. Then you're on from 5 to 6.
Okay.
Gabe Cosner with the veteran shows on from 6 to 7.
Sure.
And then we have Dick Lee and Garage 60s Rock from California from 7 to 8. And then Steve Fox comes on from 8 to 9 with the Street Corner, and that's all doo-wop.
Yes.
And it's got a good audience. I mean, people chime in, they listen. We've had them now on a number of years, so it's, if they're good and people listen, we leave them alone. We don't fix the clock if it's not broke.
Exactly. Oh. And then Pete Mezzetti shows up in the mix somewhere.
That's always broken.
Thanks.
We retain a repairman. It's like the Maytag guy.
Yeah, right. Maytag guy only shows up when needed.
No, your show actually does well. Your show does well.
Thank you.
It really, you've had a lot of interesting people. I don't know of too many people. In fact, I know people who would die for your Rolodex.
Yeah.
They might kill you for your Rolodex, but they'll die for the Rolodex. But they will, you're the only guy I know who can pick up the phone and call the governor and have him on as a guest tomorrow. I don't know if too many people can do that.
As a matter of fact, it's funny you should say that, because my guest in a couple of weeks is the former Lieutenant Governor, Nancy Wyman. She's actually chairman of the State Democratic Party now. I have Chairman Wyman coming on with me.
Good for you. No, she's a nice lady.
In a couple of weeks. As a matter of fact, I'm doing coming up, and very shortly, I'm doing a special edition of my show, and I'm having Gabe Cowser on with me.
Good. Gabe's the kind of guy, we have seen a lot of veteran shows.
Yep.
Over the years, and he's the only guy that actually, he'll tell you about a program, he'll show you who to call, and if you call this number and you don't get an answer, here's my phone number, you call me and I'll get you an answer. So it's not like a feel-good program, all we're doing this stuff for veterans, blah, 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 and then that's it. He will actually walk you through, these are the people you call at VA West Haven, here's the phone number, here's the person you want to talk to. If you leave a message and then they'll call you, here's my phone number, you call me and I will call them. So
and then we'll get back to him.
He's got very good follow-up.
Yeah.
He does a great show.
Does he?
So
Now,
that's the reason we do it.
Now, how did his show end up on the station? Did he?
We did the show with him a number of years back on WNHU, and then he got reduced down to a podcast. So the show kind of floundered for a couple of years, and then we saw him at a Middlesex Chamber event at the Radisson in Cromwell.
Okay.
We were coming out the door, and he was going in. We started talking. Here we are.
There you go.
So it's just so what you're doing. And that's how we end up back on the air. So we're glad to do it because he's got some interesting people that he brings in who talk about PTSD and all that stuff. So,
So what else do we want to tell everybody that enlightening?
We're like I said, it's like the quiet time.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot out. I'm 68. I'm no spring chicken. I'm just a chicken at this point.
Exactly.
Right? But the point is that you need time off.
Yeah.
And this is our time off, and it gives us a chance to reach out to the public. We do these public events and car shows and fairs and all that kind of stuff, and it gives us a chance to talk to the people who actually listen to the station, which is it's interesting because we get to meet our listeners face to face.
Exactly.
I like this, I don't like that, and we just, so, yeah. But like I said, we got an average it's around 3,000. It's been holding at that level for some time.
Okay.
Which is good. Yeah. I mean, we're a small station in comparison to some of the bigger operations that are around us. But it's amazing that some of these bigger operations are basically afraid of Judy.
No.
Yes.
How could they be afraid of Judy Clark?
Well, she's the only female owned and operated station in Connecticut.
Exactly.
So we, it's like, what are we doing so right that would make you so upset about us? I mean, we just do our thing. We don't care about who our competition. We are the competition. We just do our thing.
Exactly.
And we got to be doing something right because,
Right.
people listen.
They do.
And we don't junk up the airways with some DJ talking about a social life. We play the music and jingles and commercials are a minimum. So, we keep it. The music is what people like.
Yeah.
They come to work, bring us up on their computer or iPhone or iPad, minimize it to the toolbar, and let it play all day.
There you go.
So it's just, and we found in Middletown we average about 165 listeners per hour, which is good.
Yeah.
That's just Middletown. We get a readout of Middletown, Portland, and every town in Connecticut. So we can go right down the whole Middlesex County,
The footprint.
and get a read of how many people are at any given time. But like I said, we do the sports stuff. It's amazing on the sports stuff. We do an Xavier Mercy game within 10 minutes. We got 1,200 people.
Wow.
And it's amazing that Mercy, the demographics we see on Mercy stretch from Bangor, Maine, down to the Florida Keys, out to LA.
Wow.
Where Xavier stretches from New Bedford, Mass, down to the south of Philadelphia. They stay close to home. The girls hit the road, and What's also interesting, I mentioned about Armed Forces Radio.
Yeah.
We've been on it for 12 years. We applied way back in 07. And there's like it's part of their website that's not accessible to the general public. It's only accessible to active duty military people.
Right.
And it's a vetted list, and it's like on a rotation. So they can pick off these stations that are small, what would they call the country bumpkin stations.
Okay.
So we're one of the country bumpkin guys. And this is what a small station and back home would sound like, with the music but our biggest group of people stateside is Fort Dix in New Jersey.
Wow.
They're on 20 to 24 hours a day.
Okay.
Every day, 7 days a week. So that it's got to be doing something right.
Exactly.
Because if we were doing something wrong, we wouldn't have it.
We wouldn't be here.
But we do run promos thanking them for their military service and so on and so forth. So
Very nice.
Your next question?
My next question is: we have a little bit more time left, but before we say goodnight, Website for you one more time?
WCNXradio.com, not WCNX.com, WCNXradio.com. Incidentally, WCNX stands for,
Yes.
for all you trivia buffs,
I think I know this.
what Connecticut needs is excellent radio. What, W, Connecticut, C, and
Got it.
needs,
Yeah.
X is excellent in the radio. Ta-da!
I didn't know that.
That's what it stands for.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The same way WNYW New York stands for What New Yorkers Watch. WNYW. Okay? And when I worked in college, our college station was WBAU, which is, being affected upstairs.
Yeah, there you go.
That was, you come up with these little combination of names. Yeah.
Exactly. So if people want to email you, how can they reach you?
It's John E. Clark at middlesexbroadcasting.com
Okay.
is my email address.
All right.
And if you want to call me on the phone, it's
No.
860-882-4195 because we got a new number.
Yep.
And we disappointed all those robocallers that kept calling me trying to sell me ice scrapers
There you go.
from San Diego. And,
Do me a favor. We're out of time. Thanks for coming down. Say goodnight.
Good night, Charlie.
Good night.